are who we thought they were. No, going against Auburn last week was a very tough fleet, for our guys, but it was a great experience all around. As I told the young men before, it gave us an opportunity to play the high caliber of talent that we went against. It gave the program an opportunity to promote itself in over 10 million households, and it gave us a chance to see some talent that we had later on in the game. And we came out on the losing side, but we had other victories within that loss that's going to help us throughout the year.
All right. Yeah, you ready?
All right, Coach Ely. Since your last matchup with Auburn, what are some things that you saw that needed to be fixed for this upcoming game Saturday versus Kennessaw?
Well, the thing about it is one of the positives is that the guys, they didn't quit, they continue to fight. Quite naturally, some of the things that we had to do versus Auburn, we wouldn't have to do versus any other team that we play. Auburn has 3 or 4 defensive linemen that's draft choices, so we had to double them in a lot of our protections. Defensively, they have a lot of team speed as well, and then on the offensive side, they call plays in 8-9 seconds. 6'7", 6'8" offensive tackles, 6'5" receivers. So, we were pretty much outmanned in a lot of areas, but we had to do some different things that we could match up. So, the takeaways from playing them, if you were going to play a team like that again, you would say, okay, we have a way that we could double a big receiver or double a big inside guy, but for the most part, the teams that we play from here on out, we tend to match up with them size-wise and talent-wise. So you want to be able to take the speed of the game away. After watching Auburn for a week and then coming back watching other teams, you don't see teams move that fast. And so the pace of the game is one of the things that's priceless.
Coach, you had a few injuries. Can you talk about the severity of those injuries and how would that affect the team moving forward?
Well, quite naturally, can't go into too much details about the injuries, but we did have a few injuries. Had a few guys that actually, probably won't be with us the remainder of the year. But those are things that you'll probably be able to get from Travis later on with whatever information that we can release. So anytime you lose guys, it's bad, because we wanted to get into that game and get out healthy, and but unfortunately we have a couple guys, and we got some guys banged up here or there, but found a way to mend the ones that can be mended and bring them back, and the ones that can't, keep them around, keep the morale going so that they can finish strong in their classes and be there for us in the spring, and just move forward. It's time for the next guy to step up, and that's why I think the depth that we were trying to put in our program is mainly for the schedule. We're, with this schedule, anytime you're playing 6 conference title defenders in a row, you need depth in our schedule. And fortunate enough, those guys, even though they'll be missed, but we do have the depth to be able to replace them.
You're able to work in a good number of players throughout the game. Who did you see that stood out, and what did you take from the number of guys that got in and got playing time Saturday?
Well, mainly in the offensive line, we found that we're probably about 8 to 9 guys strong that can go in. I don't think we kind of, missed a beat with about 8 or 9 of those guys. On our defensive line, the same thing. We was able to switch in some guys as well and find some depth there. Secondary-wise, again, with Karan and Josh Hill, those are 2 of our stronger safeties, and we was able to find some other guys at that position to help us. So, and even at the running back spot. So collectively, I couldn't really single out which individuals, but we found depth in other spots of guys that we normally wouldn't have known that we had unless you're in that kind of situation, and you could put them in and see how they compare against those that talent.
What jumps at you about Kennessaw State?
Triple option. Now you go from a game where they hold you up and pound you on the double team, and now you go to a point where they're trying to get you on the ground, cutting you. They cutting the game in half, and they're very effective. You're talking about a team that went to the quarterfinals last year. That has, when you look at the stats, I think they may throw the ball 3 or 4 times a week, and they on the ground. So it's a physical game. And but again, the FCS, and it's a situation where they're non-conference, but it gives us an opportunity to put our program against one of the top 20 teams or top 10 teams in FCS to see how we fare out, and it gives us a barometer of where we are as a program.
And the game was close last year. You only lost by 6 last year. So what do you think would have to be different this time around?
Well, if last year was the same as this year, they wouldn't turn the pages of the calendar. So nothing matters what happened last year. It's a whole new day. It's one of those ones we got to play them play for play this year. We got to find a way to stop them this year and find a way to slow them down. That's a very experienced team. By going to the quarterfinals, that means they played 3 or 4 more additional games than you normally would play. So they have a lot of experience, and you can see the way that they play. They play with experience. They play as a playoff caliber team, and they don't make the normal mistakes that you would see in a team that that has just started out in the last 10 years.
A good thing that you can take away from the Auburn game was you guys forced 4 turnovers. That showed that this defense can compete with anybody in the country. Just talk about the praise you have for this defense.
Once we got back, and it's one of those games as a coach, you have to decide how you're going to approach it. If you take the tape and throw it away, then they say, oh, you gave up. But what we did, we ended up with 30 plays. We took 12 offensive plays, 12 defensive plays, and 6 special teams plays where we won, where we dominated, or we met our goals on those plays. And we showed those 30 plays. And my message to the players was that for 30 plays, that I was able to go through this tape and pick out 30 plays where you competed against the number 7 team in the country. And on those 30 plays, you won. So now we didn't lose because you weren't good enough. We lost because we didn't have enough collection of plays. If the next time we play Auburn, we want to be able to put on that tape and go from 30 plays to 60 plays, or a full game where we're making our plays and guys are having success. So you have to find the positive, because there's enough negatives already in their minds just from coming off the loss. And I think they, by the way they moved around in practice in the meetings, they understood what I was trying to convey to them about finding more opportunities to have success. And we moving on to the next one.